Hello there, Paul Gaskell here from Discover Tenkara ahead of the British Fly Fair International 2019. I'm actually practicing my horsehair line making techniques at the moment. Why the hell am I doing that, you might ask? Well, this year I'm going to be giving a bit of a demonstration of that on our stall, which is a little bit of something different, a bit of interesting departure from the norm, I guess, and hopefully something that's at least a bit of curiosity inducement for folks that come to the show this year. But why on earth would I be even thinking about doing this? Well, there was a gentleman who, by the name of Hisanobu Hirata, who was kind enough to show me how to actually make these lines, and it's not just myself. He's actually sort of, he's taught lots and lots of people his methods of fishing, but also his methods of tackle making as well. He grew up as the most renowned and most successful and reliable professional fly fisher in his region in Japan. And he would be paid by the local hotels, not the right word. They were sort of more like the rural Japanese equivalent of bed and breakfast sort of accommodation. But they would, to their guests, they would serve fresh fish a lot of the time, but they needed to obtain that. So he would go out and actually catch fish to order in terms of size, species, and number, using traditional fly fishing, traditional Tenkara techniques. And he had this sort of real renown of being the most skilled, most reliable angler in the area. So it was a real honour to be shown how to do this by the man himself. And the interesting thing is, even though he sort of runs a fishing shop and he stocks all sort of modern fishing gear of all different methods of fishing, and he himself fishes very effectively using a whole range of different tackle and techniques, he still favours, over the modern fluorocarbon version of the lines, he still favours his handcrafted, handmade horsehair lines. They actually give him an advantage, he feels, because of the properties and the way that they can sort of control those properties. And it's not a million miles away from the sort of the taper control that's created by top French competition anglers. When they were developing the French leader into that sort of dominant competition winning formula, they have these recipes for the tapers and so on. And when you look at a horsehair line made in the manner that Hirata-san actually constructs them, it's very, very similar, because he deliberately matches that taper to the action and the condition of the rod that he's actually using. And so each line is actually individually tailored to an individual rod. So I'll be demonstrating a little bit of that on 2 o'clock on our stand. I'll give you a bit of a program review at the end, just to give you a reminder about when you can catch that. I might even get into some no vice, sort of just finger fly tying, just in the fingers without a vice as well, using the methods and patterns that Hirata-san uses as well. So that's all sort of coming up, and that's something that we hope will give a bit of interest. You can actually win the line that I demonstrate making during that sort of on the stand demonstration. So drop in, ask any questions on that, and find out the details of how you can win that on the day. It's sort of not this weekend coming, it's the weekend after in Staffordshire. If you Google BFFI International, you'll obviously find it. Depending on where you're watching this, you might actually be watching it in Facebook on the BFFI group as well, so it's kind of obvious to you guys where that would be. But yeah, it's this idea that the techniques he was using were reliable enough to actually feed people, so he wasn't messing about. And it's interesting that they weren't using bait fishing techniques. Both them and the other, what they call shokuryoshi, the professional fly fishers of Japanese mountains, they used fly fishing techniques using these horsehair lines and handmade flies. Very, very interesting history, and not at all dissimilar really to the techniques and the tackle used by Isaac Walton and pretty much any archaic form of fly fishing, and then seeing how that's developed through into the modern form. It's really, really interesting, and it gives a lot to your overall fly fishing when you understand some of those techniques, because it relies on a real deep understanding of the fish themselves. That's a neat sort of segue really into the biology of understanding these fish. Even when you're catch and release fishing, as the modern day ethic is, that reasoning behind why fish do what they do, how to find them. That's really going to be the basis of the talk that I'm giving in the Flyfair forum. That's going to be at 12:30 both days, so if you want to catch that, head over there and we'd be delighted to see you as well. In that, we're actually giving a book away, a signed copy of the print book that we've done, and that sort of features fairly heavily in the talk as well. So it might be worth your while just dropping in and checking that out. There's some fantastic stuff on the rest of the Fly Forum stuff, and obviously all the other exhibitors as well. So definitely well worth coming down to the BFFI. We'd love to see you there, obviously. So yeah, without further ado, I guess I can skip to the big announcement, which is that we're actually bringing out a new DVD as well, which we'll be launching at the show, and it applies to both Japanese Tenkara techniques, but it's also applying that to rod and reel fly fishing as well. Obviously heavily involved with both myself and my partner in crime, John Pearson. I've created that. We've been hard at work. That's why I've been a little bit quiet on social media recently. And it features us in locations around the world using these techniques, showing the proof of the pudding as well as demonstrating the techniques that will really bring your flies to life. So it adds a lot to your existing fly box and your existing techniques as well. And it features lots of top anglers from around the world, some fantastic locations. And as I say, it also involves techniques like nymphing on rod and reel as well. So very, very applicable to anybody who fishes fly fishing in flowing water. We're super psyched about it. We're flat out at the moment trying to finish that, making sure that we can launch that at the BFFI. We'd love you to check that out as well. I'm obviously happy to answer questions on that too. And so, yeah, what I will leave you with is that if you come down both days, both the Saturday and the Sunday, 12:30 p.m, there'll be a slideshow, obviously opportunity to ask questions, and an opportunity to win the signed copy of the book, as I mentioned. And that's the print copy as well. 2 p.m. both days on our stand, the Discover Tenkara stand. I'll do a horsehair line making demo, and you can win the horsehair, beg your pardon, that actually is produced during that demo. So you can take that home by entering a simple competition that will be run actually at the end of the demo. So you won't need to hang around to find out whether you've won or not. And yeah, it's a bit of gallows humour that you might look at that horsehair line. You know, you might be needing these skills sooner than we think. It's a bit of a Brexit no deal special version of a French leader. So, you know, using materials that you can forage for yourself. But yeah, with that, do come along and give us your comments and feedback on the stand and also underneath this video. So yeah, hope to catch you soon.